Hello, my real ones, and welcome to a new episode of Real with Rayo. Two solo episodes in a row. Aren't you lucky? Well, I'm really happy to be recording a solo episode, and I think these solo episodes are slowly going to become my favorite. It's so funny because I first battled with the idea of introducing solo episodes. I was very hesitant because that's not how I initially wanted Real with Riot to be built as a show. But now I'm so excited to just record and talk to you and just really be honest, be real. And I think we can make this a thing. Like, we can definitely just lock in because I have a lot to say and so much has been going on. I was in a horrible mood last week, very, very disappointed, very sad. I received some news that just left me feeling a bit deflated. It was work related. And of course, there were some other things that contributed to my negative feelings. And you know, when you look back on your week and look back at your demeanor, and you just think, no, I really want better for myself. But then, even in the midst of that, I just thought, surely this is not it. It's like, surely this is not my end story. God has so much more planned for me. And let the record know that on this day, the 2nd of June, I'm speaking everything I want into existence and I am choosing radical optimism. Now, what is radical optimism? You might have heard of it from Dua Lipa's album, who I absolutely love. But radical optimism is the intentional and courageous choice to believe in the possibility of good, even when reality gives you every reason not to. It's not blind hope, it's not fake positivity, it's a mindset grounded in resilience, faith, and vision. That perfectly encapsulates everything I am choosing from this day onward, especially with this week, this new week beginning. I'm recording this on a Monday, and this episode is going to be out on Wednesday for you to listen. And the reason I am starting with this week is because I like to put things into smaller chunks for me to be able to monitor them closely, but to make myself feel better about the goals I achieve. Because if I say I'm choosing radical optimism from this point and for the rest of my life, how do I measure that, right? But if I say I'm choosing radical optimism from this week, Monday, 2nd of June, till when this week ends, I can reflect back and also give you guys an update when next I record a solo episode. Now, I'm a very expressive person. If I'm not feeling something, you're going to know. It's written all over my body language, my facial expression, and my mood. You can read me like a book when I want you to, when it's negative. I feel like positive as well. When I'm happy, right? You will definitely know. When I'm not happy, I am not happy. And like I said earlier on, I received some disappointing news and it just compiled into a lot of negative feelings because, long story short, I had a goal in mind about something I want to achieve, and I got told because of some systems in place at work, the goal might not be achieved. And as you can tell, I am a goal setter. I like to plan, organize, and really just strive for the best with everything that I do and hope that one day my hard work will pay off. The disconnect in this scenario is the timeline I had in my head and the timeline that is looking to be possible are very, very different. I had a timeline in my head for July 2025, and now I'm being told that this timeline could possibly be shifted until the end of the year. So you can imagine the disappointment I felt, and I had to sit in it and reflect on it. To be very honest, I was quite angry for a couple of days. I felt very frustrated, but I prayed about it. I took a minute to myself. I vented and spoke to some of my friends. And you know what? Last week, Sunday, yesterday actually, when I was doing some journaling for this week, I decided I am choosing radical optimism this week because surely it gets better than this. I was listening to Icy Girl a lot last week, and Saweetie has a lyric where she says, "Looking in the mirror, I thank God for what I'm about to be." And that is the realest thing I've seen in a week. I really thank God for what I'm about to be because I know Arayo in, I'm not even going to say 5, 10 years. Arayo next week is successful. Arayo, in fact, Arayo is successful right now. Arayo is content. Arayo is happy. Arayo has achieved a lot of her goals. Arayo is proud of her real ones. Arayo has a very successful podcast. Arayo is an entrepreneur. And all these things that I want so badly for myself, I just have to own it and accept that that is the price to also pay for being a very ambitious person. And for a long time, I never really identified with, high achievers or high performers, because let's be clear, it's not everything I'm super hyper fixated on. I probably have like 3 things that I'm just very passionate about, and I like to give things my all. So with that comes disappointed, right? Because they say no expectations, no disappointments. But it's okay because I've now accepted that disappointments are part of the journey. Last week, Thursday, I was also invited to watch Tom Daly's documentary called 1.6 Seconds. Absolutely fantastic. It is very inspiring and motivating. Tom Daly is an absolute darling. I saw him. He's so cute, by the way. But yeah, like his documentary was very inspiring for me because it explored themes of grief, love, disappointment, success, and identity. A lot of things I'm dealing with in this current phase of my life. But then it was also a story of hope, a story of perseverance. And persevering is not always pretty, right? Persevering is emotional, persevering is tiring, but persevering is worth it because what is on the other end that you might not be able to directly see is beautiful and is promised. And that is what I'm choosing to accept from this day onward. There's so many things that are beyond my control, but there are also so many beautiful people that have been a testament of this philosophy. I was also watching Donna Wan's interview on, I believe it's called OK Africa. It's really, really good. If you don't know Donna Wan, he is Tames's manager and they have a company together called The Leading Vibe. And I learned so much from that interview. But one thing that really stood out to me was he said, the reason why Tim's brand is so powerful and how it transcends across like the diaspora, but even in American culture and within the American audience, is she tells a story of hope. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm a huge Tim's fan, and her music and just her career has really been a story of hope. Like when I listen to Free Mind or I listen to Burning or even Hold On, she has a song on her latest album, Born in the Wild, called Hold On. And the lyrics of that song, it makes me cry almost every single time because it's so powerful, but then it's so real. It's like you're going to find it, it's going to find you. And yeah, I believe it. I believe that all the good things I want are going to find me. And I'm choosing to hold on to that thought, regardless of what I'm going through at the moment, the disappointments that I will face. Another way for me to control this narrative is just being hyper aware of what I'm choosing to consume. And I know everyone say this and it's cliche for a reason, right? But it is so true. There were days last week where I would pick up my phone and I was just doom scrolling, like literally in bed, just on TikTok. And that's not always a bad thing, right? There's some days where you just want to chill and doom scroll. But the minutes that you're doom scrolling when you're already in such a vulnerable space mentally, that's not helpful to you. You have to counteract what you're feeling with something that's going to fuel you physically, emotionally, or spiritually. So whether it be going on a walk, doing 30 minutes on the treadmill, that's what I did, or journaling, praying, speaking to a friend, just ultimately challenging those negative feelings and replacing it with feelings of what your higher self represents is a beautiful way to practice radical optimism in your current life and your current mental space. Another thing I'm releasing this week is the shame of being embarrassed when things don't work out. Oh my goodness. People don't talk about this enough. And it's not being embarrassed as it relates to other people, because most of the time, a lot of things I worry about, I haven't actually told people that have been planning this for months. But it's the shame that I feel with myself and the disappointment I feel. And I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because, let's be real, this timeline that I've created and so perfectly designed, it's not God's timeline, and it's not the absolute end of the world if it doesn't happen. It's not saying it's never going to happen. It's just delayed. Like, what do they say, right? Delayed is not denial. And it's so true, because I felt a sense of shame when all of a sudden I received this news. I was like, oh my gosh, does that mean, like, so many things are going to change in my life? Like, within myself, like, is this me? Like, is this as a result of something I've done? And while all of these things may be true, and that's where accountability comes to place, but that was not my truth in this situation. Actually, factually, this has nothing to do with me, right? It's just beyond my control. So therefore, I cannot hold on to shame. And I release any shame pertaining to my goals, wanting them, achieving them, and being honest with myself when it doesn't work out, because it will work out eventually, and that's all that matters. Once I get those wins, that's all that's going to happen, and it will happen in due time by God's grace. So I want to ask you guys, what is something you're releasing this week? And how do you feel about radical optimism as something you choose to practice this week? I want us to go into this journey together, because I know sometimes when we hear these buzzwords, it's all fluffy and it's all like, oh yeah, like toxic positivity. But no, this is not that. This is still being honest about the disappointments that have happened, but just having that choice that regardless of all of these bad things that have happened, I am going to choose optimism, radical optimism, because I believe my end goal is going to be positive. And that's your only duty. That's our only duty, right? We can only choose to believe that everything will work out, and we do everything in our power to work hard and, do our part. But beyond that, it's so much bigger than us, it's out of our control, and we just have to trust and believe the best is yet to happen. I always say, God, please show me how good it gets, because like life is already good. Don't get me wrong. There are lots of horrible, horrible things that have happened and are happening, but there are also so many beautiful things that I am grateful for. I look at my life sometimes and I think, wow, I am so, so blessed. And I can't take that for granted, regardless of the disappointments that I feel and the pockets of frustration that I feel. It doesn't take away from the fact that life is good. Generally, life is good, So the version of me I'm becoming is radically optimistic. I choose hope. I choose faith. I choose joy from today and the rest of this week. And even beyond that, the plan is for this to seep into my subconscious, where it's just no other choice. Like Drake, I'm just realizing in this episode, I'm quoting a lot of lyrics, but I love listening to music. And I just think sometimes when you hear good things, you have to repeat them. Drake has the lyric on Lemon Pepper Freestyle called "Negative thoughts don't even enter my inner matrix." And how beautiful is that? Like, your mind is so protected and so strong. I mean, I don't know how much I believe that 100%, especially after that. This last year has been a rough year for him, right? But still, I love the idea of building your mind to the point where negative thoughts don't even enter. They can come around it, but the barriers are so strong that negative thoughts don't enter your inner matrix. That is beautiful. I think that's where we can end the episode. I hope this episode resonates. Please let me know what you think, as always. I love you guys. I will see you in my next episode, and let's be radically optimistic together.